SBF, he's been talking to people. There's been documents that have been revealed where he's emailing old friends and being like, hey, let's be helpful to each other. Now, this is alleged witness tampering, according to the court. And they're saying, dude, you really shouldn't be doing that. You can't be emailing these folks. You can't even be using Signal, another disappearing chat functionality. But how would they know? Anyway, also revealed, FTX has $1.4 billion cash on hand as of the end of 2022, according to new filings. That's up about 19% from the $1.2 billion that was reported earlier. So there's still a bunch of cash around and nowhere to spend it. Hopefully it will be diverted toward making users whole. So yeah, lots of SBF stuff. We had another ruling from a judge saying that the names of those people who signed his $250 million bond could be revealed. So a lot of SBF stuff, a lot of FTX stuff. And we figured we'd just start the show with that. So I'm going to toss it straight to Jen for her initial thought on the latest from FTX and its bankruptcy saga. What do you got?
So I think it's interesting that he's banned from Signal, but he's still allowed to blog and be on Twitter. He can still contact people. I don't know. I don't want to hear from him anymore. And so if the courts are listening or the opposing lawyers are listening, please file something to make Sam stop talking. I think when I read these stories about what's going on with Sam Bankman-Fried, I see a person unraveling. And I've said this on the show before. You know, he was at the height of his career. He really was this loved character in the media. He was rubbing shoulders with celebrities and politicians. He really was on top of the world. And to have such a disgraceful fall, I think is really affecting him. And we're seeing it play out in real time online. For him to be reaching out to former colleagues is just baffling to me. And I have to point out again, like I do every time we talk about what's going on with him and FTX, he is currently living at home with his parents, both of whom are lawyers, and still conducting himself as if he has no legal advice, but he has some of the best legal advice in the world under the same roof that he's in. So this is just baffling to me. I think he's unraveling, and that is my take on the story. Wendy, what do you got?
So I was actually talking to a good friend in the industry last night about this whole debacle. And because I was so upset, I was like, why is the court giving him access to the internet, considering that's where he committed most of his crimes, right? And the answer was simple. It dawned on me. I forgot that I am from the streets. They are simply giving him freedom so he can continue to incriminate himself and get himself in more trouble. Every single time he sends a transaction, he is laundering money, he is doing something illicit, allegedly, they are tracking him and they are monitoring and documenting all of this stuff. So you know what? It makes complete sense that he has access to the internet and these capabilities so he can continue to incriminate himself and so they can continue to gather more evidence. That is my thoughts. Will, I saw you nodding your head though.
That's a pretty good take. I hadn't thought about that one, but I think you're spot on there. I actually want to go back to what Jen said and just discuss about why is he talking to all these people in FTX? And to me, this is kind of like a bad breakup, right? Like he was the king of crypto. He was in charge of Alameda Research. He was in charge of FTX, and then his empire crumbled. And now he's reaching out to all his ex-girlfriend's friends, trying to talk to them, trying to persuade them that it's okay. I'm fine. This was not my fault. So that's how I kind of see everything here. It's just a mess. It's going to continue to be a mess. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff like this. I'm just really waiting for the next Substack post. I don't know about you guys. I mean, we've seen a lot of talks about that online. But I'm waiting for the next issue of his Substack or maybe even a podcast appearance. Last question, Wendy, I actually want to throw it back to you. Can they legally take away his internet as a condition of his bail? He's not going to be doing anything till October. That's quite a ways away. And he's locked in his house ordering Uber Eats to his house. I feel like he's got to have some internet.
I feel like if they wanted to include that stipulation in the bail, they 100% could, because they've done similar things to other people in the past for crimes. Let's say, for example, you get arrested for drinking. They're going to say you're not allowed to drink while you're out on bail. So I don't understand why they couldn't apply that same practice to him. I just think that they're giving him this, you're allowing him to do it so that he can get caught and continue to incriminate himself.
Yeah, Wendy, I was going to say the same thing. I think they can put any restriction on him that they want as part as part of the bail. And it is so interesting that these crimes were committed online and he still has access to the internet. I tried to pull up some of those bail requirements here, but I can't find, I think there are some financial restrictions on him. I know he had to give up his passport and he has to stay under his parents' roof. I don't remember what the financial restrictions are, but there are some. Zach, I'll give it back to you for last words.
I mean, it's kind of endearing, right? It's like, I would really love to reconnect and see if there's a way for us to have a constructive relationship, use each other as resources when possible, or at least vet things with each other. This was written to the Binance, to the FTX US General Counsel. I mean, I think it's kind of sweet, you know? I like it. I think it's a nice thing. You can't stop the man from tweeting through it, all right? Like, let him be. He's already on house arrest. He's already sad. Just let him email people. Come on now. Anyway, that's my counter take. That's my hot take to your hot take. So take that.